What is up, everybody? Man, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do it. I'm telling you, I didn't want to do it. I thought I wasn't going to have to do this tonight. But unfortunately, I had to watch that dreck of a Philadelphia baseball team. I'm concerned. I am extremely concerned. And I want to know why I shouldn't be concerned. Everybody wants to tell me why I shouldn't be concerned. Everybody wants to tell me that I should be okay. It's only one game now. It's only two games. How many games are we going to have to see this again? I thought all these issues were gone. I thought everybody was okay. I thought the bullpen was the best in baseball. I thought Aaron Nola was great. This is mind-boggling to me. Okay? This is mind-boggling to me. I don't have any other words for it. Okay? I don't. I was completely disgusted. Every fan that went to those games the last 2 days should have their money given back. It should be refunded for that heinous effort that they saw from that pitching staff. Okay? Minus Zach Wheeler. Okay? It is an absolute joke. And if you tell me right now, I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of hearing about, I heard, oh, well, sometimes out of spring training, with all due respect to Ruben Amaro, and talk about the relievers didn't get enough work and this and that, man. Come on. Stop. Why? How come there's always excuses? There's always excuses when it's our team, right? The excuses are only good for the Phillies. Only good for the Phillies. One good, it's never good for everybody else. Last time I checked, everybody had spring training. Last time I checked, everybody had the same deal. This was supposed to be our healthiest ever. Our healthiest ever. Again, man, Heat Ratio Sports, Tony Cutillo right here. Make sure you subscribe. I can't even talk right now. I'm so mad, right? I'm so mad. I can't wait. I'll talk Blue Coats later on the Blue Coats beat. At least I'll have something to smile about. A team that's getting ready to go back to back. And this has just killed me, man. This has just killed me. My Adam checking in says, "What are they doing? Same old song." Last year started out 0-4, and they will get it together soon. This can't happen. We talked about this. We talked about the slow starts. We talked this cannot happen. This cannot. You can only do this for so long. And I'm telling you, I said it yesterday. I will say it again. Be very careful because now you're facing a guy in Chris Sale who is healthy and absolute stud. Don't sleep on Chris Sale. And now, Chris Sale is better than Max Fried. I will argue to anybody about that. Chris Sale is better than Max Fried. Today was your opportunity to grab a game, okay, to make it a rubber match tomorrow and just hope that maybe you can hold your own until you can get Chris Sale out of the game. That was your only hope. Now you have to go up against one of the best pitchers in baseball when healthy. Yes, one of the best pitchers in baseball when healthy. You can argue with me till you're blue in the face, and you will not win. Just go back and look at the healthy statistics from Chris Sale. Go back and look what he's done in spring training. He is throwing the ball better than he's ever thrown in the last 5 years. And now he's an Atlanta Brave with one of the best pitching coaches in all of baseball. This is a problem. And again, I was not ready to concede saying that let's get the wild card, not worry about the division. But I'll tell you what, you could say whatever you want. And again, I'm not being a fan. I'm being an analyst right now. I'm being a talk show host. I'm being an unbiased sports reporter. There is a huge separation between the Braves and the Phillies right now. Huge. I look at it, it is a pair. That lineup, and I know we talked about the Dodgers, but that lineup is very, very scary. I mean, Jared Kalenic and my man Javon checking in. And Javon, you know as well as I do, how many years did we ride Jared Kalenic out there in Seattle on our DFS team? A guy before he started catching fire that we were getting him at that FFVP level. We always had Jared Kalenic. And I don't care what he did out in the field. He made a great play on Bryce. And listen, Bryce had a couple hard hit balls today. Unfortunate. Okay. JT finally did something. But again, man, this is not the way you want it to come out. This is bad. I don't care. This is bad. Like, I'm not saying sky falling down yet, but it started to come away from the clouds have started to come away from the sky. They really have right now. I don't care what you say, it's true. It is true. We have to change something immediately. Immediately, something's got to change. Adam says, same old Nola. Listen, again, everybody talked about Aaron Nola. Everybody talking about, I hate to say it, man. Again, here he is. He gives you those couple innings and then he just can't find a pitch. Can't find a pitch. Javon checking in says, thank goodness for the UFL today because I couldn't watch the Phillies. Oh man, I hope you hit on some bets on the UFL, man. At least you had a little ching ching to go with this direct that we watched. To be the best, you got to beat the best, right? Just like Ric Flair said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. They're on track for another slow start. Now it's up to Suarez tomorrow. And again, I like Suarez. I think Suarez is going to be your legitimate number 2 pitcher on this team, even though you're paying Aaron Nola as your number 2. Suarez is going to be that good. But the problem is your bats have to wake up even more. And they have to wake up against a deadly pitcher. May Rich second is his worst way to start off the season. Wheeler was just fire. Then the unraveling began. Javon, Phillies are getting beat like they are the Angels. It is scary, Javon. It is scary. Adam says, no excuse. Something is wrong in that locker room. I'm not, listen, here's the thing, Adam. This honestly, this has nothing to do with locker room. This has nothing to do with locker room. What I will say, though, and I want to see if anybody's in agreement with me here. Again, if you're joining on live on Facebook, if you're joining, just give me a like, subscribe, whatever you can do to help me out a little bit. I'd much appreciate trying to grow this channel as much as I can. Going to be doing more and more. I got some more announcements, some more things coming up the pike. It's going to be some fun. But what I can say is, when do we start saying that the lackadaisical approach, the I'm not worried, it's okay, when does that go away? What like, and again, I like Topper, right? I like Rob Thompson. I think he's a fantastic manager. But when does the Topper attitude of just saying we're going to be okay, when does that end? Right? Because maybe, just maybe, this team needs to see Topper a little fired up. Maybe this team needs to see Topper say, this ain't good. And again, can somebody get Brogdon off the mound? Like, again, why is Connor Brogdon still here? I asked this yesterday. He gets thrown in today and he stinks again. Like, why? Explain this to me. I don't understand. Like, give it to a young guy, man. Give it to somebody that, like, a younger guy, whoever, but he's not it right now. He's not it. My man Rich says, we hear, oh, it's early. I'm tired of hearing that Hal start playing baseball, great baseball. Exactly. Like, exactly. My man says, Rich says, I just wrote that, bro. The lackadaisical attitude will turn it on. I'm sick of that. And Rich, it's so true. It's so true because I honestly think that we really need to change this mindset a little bit, because if not, we're going to limp our way through the season again. We're going to have to turn it on and wait for these hot streaks. We already know this is a streaky team. Okay. We already know this is a streaky team, but again, 17 hits today, plus at one time, 17 hits. Are you kidding me? Like, this is like, are we still in spring training mode? Like, did we ever leave Clearwater? I I just I just can't believe that we're sitting here talking about this right now. I just can't believe Adam. Oh, look, Adam's already thrown in the towel. He says, "How many losses till they fired a manager if they keep going like this?" Adam, I'm telling you right now, Topper's here, man. I can't put this all on Topper, and I get it, right? I get it, but this has got to be a mindset within that clubhouse, okay? And here's what's bothersome to me too. uh, you have a true leader in Bryce Harper. Okay. Bryce Harper goes out and gives you his all, goes out and almost kills himself trying to catch a foul ball. Bryce, I love you, but let that shit go. Right? I love what you did, but let that shit go, please. Just for your own sanity, let it go. But my issue is when he did that, what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened. No fire. Although I watched a Reese Hoskins out in New York and Milwaukee, or in New York from Milwaukee, being a lightning rod for that team, okay, and having the entire team rally, okay, and play behind Reese, showing his true leadership. How come these players are not rallying when we see it from Bryce Harper? I don't understand. I don't understand. Like if I'm if I'm a bullpen, if I'm a pitcher and I'm seeing that kind of effort for me, I'm going out there and these guys are not even hitting the gun. I mean, Sir Anthony Dominguez again comes in and stinks up the joint. He stinks up the joint. Like it's like last year never ended for this bullpen. You have one guy in Jeff Hoffman who is going to be the guy, the glue that holds everything together, right? Yeah, and I'll tell you what. Now that I saw Dominguez, now that I saw Alvarado yesterday, I'm going to stick to exactly what I said yesterday. Okay, I want to see Orion or Kirkering here to be the closer. I want to see him in the closer role because you could tell me I'm crazy. You could tell me I'm nuts. But can I ask you something right now? What's the difference? Please explain to me what's the difference. So you're going to tell me, Kirkering's not ready, but you're going to throw Brogdon out there. You're going to say, Kirkering's not ready, but you're going to throw Ortiz out there. You're going to throw, Kirkering's not ready, but you're going to keep throwing Dominguez out there. Can somebody please come in and show me they're ready? And that's what bothers me. Like, stop telling me these guys aren't ready. Okay? We have to find out because right now there needs to be a spark. And how embarrassing is it? Can I I will say this, man. I'm doing this because I'm getting a headache just thinking about it. But how embarrassing is that the Atlanta Braves had to bring their closer in just to get them some work. They thought these games were going to be close. They thought this was going to be a preview for what's going to come down the pike. And one team showed that they're ready to shine. And one team showed they're still not ready. And that's going to have to change, man. Javon says Kalinic's going to end up being easily, Javon. I drafted him in every single one of my best ball leagues, in every single one of my fantasy drafts. Wherever I could get Jarred Kelenic, I took him. Because with that lineup, with those people behind him, and that pop that nobody understood, nobody understands. And here's the thing about Kelenic. Kalenic's going to get paid, man. Like, Anthony, he's going to get paid. You know why? Because he's going to get monstrous numbers in a tremendously good lineup. And he is actually that good, right? Could he be a cleanup hitter somewhere? I don't think so. But could he be a very solid number 5 or 6? Absolutely. And right now, you have that guy batting ninth. Scary. Very, very scary. Phillies were lucky to score runs early thanks to the ump miss. Yeah, thank God the ump was sleeping, right? Thank God he was sleeping. And that's another one. Like, Nick, how do you let that go? Straight down the plate. Like, I could see if you guess wrong on strike 1 or strike 2, but you can't guess wrong on strike 3. Not looking. You can guess wrong swinging, but you got to give an effort. Like, I just feel like these guys weren't even ready. Like, I don't know if you know, like, I noticed so many different things. And again, this is, and a lot of people, this annoys people. Okay. And that's okay because I like to annoy a lot of people, including my wife. She'll tell you that firsthand. But I'm looking at the clubhouse, and I'm not seeing the same kind of jovial, approach that we saw last year. You saw at the very beginning of the game yesterday, but it felt like it was completely deflated. I even watched a couple players that Castellanos is one of them. I know he's usually, tied, very, very strong, tight-lipped, and does show a lot of emotion, but he just looked like he was completely uninterested. We watched this with the Eagles this year, right? We did. We watched it with the Eagles this year. We talked about Jalen Hurts, just being uninterested on the sideline. We talked about players really not giving that same fiery approach. I didn't see that these last two games. I really didn't. I didn't see it. And it scares me. It does. It scares me. I think, the Phillies with this veteran leadership should be way above looking over an opponent, especially the Atlanta Braves. I think we all know this, and we've all said it at one time, especially the educated people that follow this show, that we know right now coming into the season, like, you've already beat the Atlanta Braves twice in their house in a wild card series. You're not going to do that again. I'm sorry. You're not going to do it again. Like, you need to do something different this year. You need to do something different this year. And if you don't, you're going to get caught with your pants down. And this is going to be a miserable end of the year. And yes, I'm talking about that already. It's funny. A lot of people, and I didn't hear a lot of boos. Okay. And I'm sure if we did, we'd hear about it. I did hear some boos for Aaron Nola. And you know what? He deserves it. Right. Listen, let's understand something. For all you Aaron Nola supporters, and listen, I don't just kill people and rip people, right? Like that. Like, I'm honest with my analysis here. You had two guys in the offseason, two guys who wanted to get paid. You had one in Nola and you had one in Wheeler. Wheeler went and got paid, went out, worked on a different pitch, okay, added to his arsenal, came out on fire. Missed a couple spots, but still came out on fire. Showed, hey, guess what? I'm worth that cash. I'm worth that paper. Aaron Nola, not so much. Aaron Nola came out and showed us the same Aaron Nola that we've seen the last 3 years, a guy that we're not sure if we can rely on, especially in a regular season. And that's not going to get us to where we need to go. Now, that's the biggest problem I have, man. And you know what? That's why so many fans, and I wasn't one of them, okay? But I will tell you, I understand now why, they literally talked about Jordan Montgomery being a guy that the Phillies should have went and tried to pursue, even if it was for 1 year, because I think they were afraid of exactly this. This is a team, again, that should not be relying on their 8 and 9 hole hitter and should not be relying on their third, fourth, and fifth starter. When we start relying on our third, fourth, and fifth starter to win us all the games we need, we have a problem. We have a problem. That means the guys ahead are not good enough. And I don't want to admit that. I don't. But my God, this is an issue. If you continue to be streaky like this, I am telling you right now, and I am 100% honest when I say this. If we're going to continue down this path and we're going to do exactly what we did this year, well, guess what? Dombro better be ready to make some major moves at the trade deadline. And I'm telling you, because you're going to need a complete change of mindset and focus on this team. This team on paper is too good to come out and shit the bed for 2 games in a row in front of their home crowd. And the other thing I will say that's not being talked about enough, okay? And this is going to, listen, and this honestly is going to, play into some of the, some of the fans, okay, which I think we need to, and that is the Philadelphia Phillies. When you keep the same team over and over, whether you really busted your ass through recovery for injuries, whether you were on this team by, as a starter, as a reliever, as a full-time player, and you went to two full postseasons of battling through play-ins and wild cards to get to where you want to go, that plays on the body and that plays on the mental psyche as well. And you get tired. Whether you feel it or not, you get tired. The body gets tired. And we're going to need to look at that. Baseball is a grind. It's a long season. Okay? You have a lot of guys on this team that have been here the last two. Let's remember 2007, the Philadelphia Phillies. They got in against the Colorado Rockies. They lost. That was their first taste, right? 2008, they win the whole damn thing. 2009, when they should have won again, but they get beat by them damn Yankees, okay? After that, couldn't get to where they needed to go because they were tired. It was the same team. So, again, that's something we're going to have to look at. And that's something we're going to have to keep our eyes on. And if that's the case, you're going to need guys to step up and young guys to really give us some energy. And, again, Javon says that's an interesting comparison. I thought the same thing about the Eagles. Long playoff run, Super Bowl in 2022, and ran out of gas this year. Javon, think about it, right? You know as well as I do. And baseball is a bigger marathon. And you have a lot of players that do not take a lot of days off. You also had a lot of players battling injuries. You've also had a lot of players coming back from serious injuries over the years. Kyle Schwarber, who looks fantastic, by the way. Looks like he lost about 10 pounds, looks ripped, looks fresh, looks cut, but he still has bad knees from his injuries in previous years. Bryce Harper, okay, I still think the back's bothering him. I said this yesterday. I think that back is going to be an issue, a guy who swings violently with everything. Trey Turner never takes a day off. Never takes a day off. Always running hard, stealing bags. Again, this weighs on you. It's something we need to really be very mindful of. And something that we're going to need to be, listen, JT, still one of the best catchers in baseball by a long shot. But a guy who plays almost every day, who is basically like robotic. He reminds me of Yadier Molina in the sense that Yadier Molina never slowed down until he was in his late 30s. Like never, ever, ever slowed down until he was in his late 30s. And I feel like JT is the same kind of guy. But I still think you're going to need JT to give you days off. And here's the problem. If you don't give JT days off, or I say if you keep losing, you're not going to want to give JT days off because you're going to want to be out there to try to get you back to where you need to be, man. The luxury is winning. If you can't win, you have no luxury. We've watched this before, year in and year out. With older players, with older teams, get into the playoffs so you can rest your players. Get in so you don't have to do it. We watched it in the beginning of the year with Joel Embiid. Okay, he was only playing 3 quarters. He was doing that because they were winning, and they were winning by a big margin. So he was able to rest. When we can start seeing those defensive replacements, watch Garrett Stubbs come in for JT. Watch Whit Merrifield come in, okay, and give guys a break. But again, guess what? That's not going to be able to happen if we keep friggin' losing games we need to win. God. Rich says, exactly, expectations got to the Eagles. Maybe expectations are making the Phillies tight and not joking around. And that's the thing, Rich. I hope not. I hope not, because these guys right now, they're too old for that. Those expectations, like I expect that from younger guys. I don't expect that from these veteran guys. No way. Now, you also said, I just wasn't sold on signing Nola back. I just don't see him as a big game pitcher. He's too inconsistent for my liking. Listen, I'm not going to disagree with you. I told you, as you well know, as everybody that follows this show well knows, again, if you're following this show, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Okay. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe, share the show, write in the comments, wherever you're at, Facebook, Instagram, X. Got a lot of big things coming up. Make sure yeah, got a big announcement. I didn't want to announce it today because let me just say this real fast as I'm talking. Lost a dear friend of mine today. And he's been in my mind for the entire day. Found out about 2 o'clock. Guy known for 25 years. Really, really close friend. Died of a heart attack today at 59 years old. So again, never take any day for granted. Live every day like it's your last. And he checked in on the show last night, man. He checked in on the show last night. You heard me refer to him as Tank. My man Tank, he was on the show last night. He was commenting. One of my good friends, and I get the call today that he's passed away. So, it was hard for me today to focus, and I kind of need to do this to vent too, because I've been getting emotional a lot today. And that's why I look at these games and I look at these things and I say, you can't take things for granted, right? You can't, Rich. Exactly, Rich. Thank you. Right, you were going back and forth with Tank last night, man. My man for a long time, man. Like, people say he's in a better place, but he was actually okay. He's not in a better place. He should be here right now. So another good one going too soon. But to get back to the topic at hand, listen, Javon, you're right. Bohm, Stop, Marsh, Rojas, always going to have to be those young guys to lead the way. And that's the thing. Those young guys are going to have to pop, Javon. They're going to have to pop. Joe says, give JT a day off and let a 140-pound cheerleader play. They need to upgrade the bench catcher to give JT a breather. Listen, I'll be honest with you, Joe. I'm not a huge Garrett Stubbs guy. But my point is, if you would win games and you would actually get a lead for once and actually have a little cushion, then you could put Garrett Stubbs in the 6th or 7th inning, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. You could kind of treat JT more like a Joel Embiid, okay, and take him out later in line because you're up by 4 or 5 runs, okay? And that's the kind of lineup we're supposed to have. Okay, so for that perspective, you don't need to upgrade the bench catcher. Okay, you just need to win. And in my opinion, that's what they should be doing, and that's the way they should play that. Now, if not, then yes, then you definitely do need a better catcher. Like, listen, he got hurt yesterday in Sean Murphy for the Braves. Okay, Travis DiGiorno, who kills us all the time, man. All the time. Rich says, exactly. If you can't get JT rest, he's burning out by the end of the regular season. 100%. I think this is the year. This is a very interesting year for JT. And I'm going to tell you why. I listen to a lot of things, and I listen to what a lot of people say in the sense that, like the reporters and the analysts, and I read a lot about JT, that right after the season, he was one of the first ones in the cage. He wanted to get his swing rectified, cut down on that big high leg kick. He had one of his worst offensive seasons ever last year, and he wanted to come back with a vengeance. So he worked a ton. What does that tell you? No days off in the offseason for JT. Father Time is undefeated. So once Father Time says, we're going to start creaking some knees and creaking some backs, it's going to happen, and you can't stop it. So that's what scares me even more about JT playing 150, 160 games this year, because he technically had 0 offseason, because he was working harder than some of the young guys, maybe less possibly Rojas, who was in there trying to rectify his swing as well. So that's something we have to look at. Joe says, I'm boycotting maple syrup until Thompson gets them to play with urgency. Joe, I'm telling you, man, like I really do not understand why they do not play with any urgency. I mean, I've seen laid back managers, right? We've seen them a lot, and look, this goes against everything we talked about 2 years ago. We talked about, Joe Girardi being a fiery guy. This team needs somebody to get up in their ass. This needs somebody to be fired up, right? We heard about that. And then we heard, oh, no, 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 no. These guys, they need a more coaches guy. They didn't like Joe Girardi. They need a laid back kind of guy that just lets them be the players they are and lets them be who they are and they play. Okay, so I asked those same people, please explain to me, because I'm asking this wholeheartedly. What the hell do we do now? What do we do now? Because this is the same players. This is the same team. What do we do now? What are we thinking about? Are we thinking about the manager needs to change a little bit? That the message needs to change a little bit? I mean, because something has to change. Because the narrative of it being a long season, I'll tell you what, I didn't see that from the Braves today. And I didn't see that yesterday. They played like it was the playoffs today. The Atlanta Braves showed me something. And I will say this, because I have buried a lot of those Braves, like Ronald Acuna Jr., like Arcia, right, for some of their antics. And I'll tell you what, I didn't see much of that. And one of the reasons why I said that the Braves would never win is because they're too immature. And what I mean by never win is never win the big game because they're too immature. And when you're immature and you get all the noise that takes over your mental psyche, then you know what happens? You lose. And I thought they played into that narrative the last 2 years. Well, I'm telling you something, man. He's never going to be perfect. Okay? Ronald Acuna Jr. will never be perfect. Right? He will always have a little bit of that neon Dion, right? He will always have a little bit of that prime time, which is fine. But he's really toned it down in the first 2 games of the season. And if he continues to tone it down, okay, and show a fire and show a player that's playing playoff caliber baseball in the regular season in games 1 and 2, the Phillies, by all means, are in a load of trouble. And that 102 wins for the Atlanta Braves seems like it's 100% an easy cash. And that stinks. Okay. And that stinks because, we can sit here and say it's too early, but I'm sorry. I do not agree that it's too early. I completely disagree. This is very concerning. This is something that we have to look at. This is something that we really have to wrap our heads around. Because, again, we can't say, well, we have the Reds next. Why are we always looking at the inferior opponent? If they go back to what Joe said and Javon said, if we cannot, and what Rich said, if we cannot beat the best, what are we doing? We can't always hope to play the team that is inferior. So we hope that we can get back on track. No, you want the big win. You want the win against the big dogs. You were supposed to show up. Now, here's the thing. We could go out tomorrow. Okay? We go out tomorrow. Ranger Suarez could pitch a gem. Okay? And we could go out and we get in the mindset of Chris Sale, which is going to be very difficult to do. Okay, but we could go out there and we get in a mindset of Chris Sale and we could possibly beat the Braves tomorrow. And we could start out 1 and 2, and some of these feelings may go away. But to quote my man, LA Knight, it's not going to go away. It's not. Because number one, they're not going to come out and win 10-0 tomorrow. If they win, it's going to be a close game. And all these reservations I've had the last 2 games are going to stay until I get to at least May or June. Because what you have shown me so far, again, is you are the exact same team as you were last year. And last year wasn't good enough. The year before wasn't good enough. And guess what? If you're going to be the same team, it's not going to be good enough this year. And that sucks. So let me know. If they win tomorrow, are you going to be able to forget this? If they come out and win tomorrow, are you going to say, you know what, 1-2, I'm good with that. We shook off the rust, and now we're 1-2. Or are you going to be like, not sold? LA Knight. Whose game is it? LA Knight. I'm in WrestleMania mode, by the way, because WrestleMania is next weekend. WrestleMania, a lot of cool stuff going on inside the city of Philadelphia this week for WrestleMania. So can't wait to start talking about that. I actually have a really cool guest tomorrow night. Emily May. Emily May Heller's great wrestling mind. She's good baseball mind as well. But she's hosted New Japan Wrestling. She's she's hosted NWA. She's hosted Impact. So I can't wait to have her on Sirius tomorrow night, getting ready for WrestleMania. But I just have to say, man, like, this is not the way we had, or not the way we wanted to come into this season. And it's a shame, because if you would have lost these games and you would have lost them by a close score, if you would have lost them going out swinging, if your bullpen would have held up, everything would have been okay. I would have been like, okay, it sucks that we lost, but at least we had a game. But you got embarrassed. You got punched in the mouth again. You got punched in the mouth. How many times are we going to say that? How many times are we going to say we got punched in the mouth? That's not what we want to do. We do not want to get punched in the mouth. And again, like I said, it's a shame that we watched it. Anyway, it's Saturday night. I'm going to go probably watch a couple home shows, with the wife, have some fun, see what I probably can't afford to do to my house and what people can do to their house to have like, I have a $1.25 million budget. Oh, cool. What do you do? I'm the toilet paper guy at Gennardi's. Like, I have no idea. I must be doing something dead wrong with these people and their budgets on these shows. But I really like watching them because, hey, maybe one day when somebody wants to pick me up and sign me to a big contract, maybe I can do that in my home one day, right? But listen, all is good, man. I appreciate everybody checking in. I appreciate Joe, Javon, Adam, Rich. I needed this. I needed the vent. Again, rest in peace, Tank. Forever be my boy. I'll miss seeing you not jumping in on these shows, talking about watch them fingers, because that's an inside joke from my earlier chemical worker days, which is pretty cool. So I always remember that. But these Phillies, man, they need to win. They need to win, and they need to do better. Tomorrow is Easter for those all who celebrate. I hope you have a great day. I will not be live after the game tomorrow. I will be live tomorrow night on Sirius, channel 87. Make sure if you have a Sirius subscription, check it out. Channel 87 from 7 to 9 p.m. Me and my man Dave Gleckner will be hosting for 2 hours, talking everything baseball, talking a little wrestling, like I said, talking some opening day weekend, some props, you name it. We'll have it there on the Win Daily Show. And again, I am probably going to be live almost every single day. So what you want to do is you want to lock into this channel, whether you got me on Facebook, whether you get me on Twitter, whether you get me on Instagram, whether you get me on YouTube. I'm telling you now, I'm going in. I'm going to be talking a lot about so many different things. I have a youth sports pod that's starting on April 8th, and I can't wait for that. You guys are really, really going to enjoy that. I think it's going to be very interesting. And I'll give you a little preview that keep an eye out. Facebook only. There might be 2 pretty big personalities that are going to go live once a week, head to head, and have some fun. And I think we have something together. We've been in talks for about 3 months. And no, it's nobody that's on the radio right now. So don't get it's not the Cuz or anything like that. Shout out Cuz are coming back. Listen, whether we like the Cuz or not, the man started his own thing, man. Good for him. My man EJ or EP out there producing, doing great things. I love to see it. And again, I gave I do like to say this because again, I don't care what the perception is. I like to shout out people who do good things, whether they reconnect with me or what. I don't really care. I don't expect nothing in return. I just like people that grind and people that do work and people that don't never done me dirty, right? So if they done you dirty, I apologize. I don't know that. But I did tweet something out earlier, didn't get a huge response, but Twitter is just such a cesspool of tweet after tweet after tweet that nobody sees it. But shout out to Vince Quinn and John Barchard, because I say that, and I do this honestly because I like to take you guys deep inside of so many things that happen behind the scenes. But right now, they do a really cool thing down in the Pyramid Club called the Content Club down in Center City, and they used to be up here in the Chamonix Interplex in Trevose, and right where Fourth and John used to record, right? And I had a meeting with Vince and John and a meetup about 2 years ago, and they wanted to show me their studio. We talked about some things, maybe doing some things together. What I was doing, what they were doing, and they had this goal in mind. And guess what? They're doing it. And they talked about this tremendous product that they had backing them, and they were backing in Liquid Death. And they said, I said, what is it? I never had it. It's a sparkling water. And they told me all about it. They knew the brand history behind it. They knew who owned it. They knew everything. And they said, we're telling you, man, we're going to help these people, and they're going to get on the top rack. They're going to get on. And you know what? 2 years later, guess what? Liquid Death hit record sales, and they're everywhere I see when I go in the market. And just like Barchard said on one of his Instagram stories, they went from the bottom shelf to the top. And I say that because I think it's great, man. Like, those dudes hustle, right? Those dudes hustle. I'm actually going down and talking to Vince this week, man. I can't wait to meet up with Vince. It's been a while since I see Vince. But I just say that because I like people that are doing great. Javon, if you're still listening, that video you dropped the other day, that little short for the UFL, amazing. Loved it. Little quick content with the quick reels and the transitions. And I know you gave a shout out to the man who made it, or I helped you make it. Obviously, you had the content, right? And he put it together. But I think that was tremendous. Love seeing stuff like that. And again, like I listen, man. I don't mind. I like putting people out that are doing good stuff, man. So to everybody, man, keep doing your thing. Keep doing it all. My man Adam says, did you see the boy that invented baseball glove wraps to help break them in? No, I did not, Adam. I did not, but I would love to see it. So Adam, do me a favor, drop a link to that. Or if it's a story or something like that, because I'm starting up this youth program, and I'm going to be having a lot of people on the program talking about different things. So I'd love to find out who the boy is and what he's doing, and talk about the story. So Javon, appreciate. Oh man, dude, man, you ain't gotta appreciate it, man. Like I said, people when people don't do me dirty, I'm a very loyal person, man, and I love watching people do big things. And Javon, I see. Yeah, you must have showed up in that Rolodex again. Are you sure you don't have a DraftKings sponsor now? Because it seems like the only way you get on the line with some people. But I know you're laughing at that. But nah, man, as always, everybody have a fantastic Saturday evening. Enjoy watching any basketball. Enjoy watching any baseball tomorrow. Hopefully Ranger gets a win. Enjoy your Easter egg hunts. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your dinners. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy. Catch me on Sirius tomorrow night. And Tank, I miss your brother. Love you to death. And I'm going to miss that smile and that laugh. Everybody stay healthy and have a great night.